In today's news, government approves a $9.6 million SAP and creates a new budgetary policy. And residents can now provide feedback on the 2022 Emancipation Festival via a survey. And the surge of the hand, foot and mouth disease cases linked to poor sanitation measures. And Premier dispelled false rumor that a coup led to the formation of his national unity government. Well, viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you,
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Well, welcome viewers to the Wednesday, August 31st edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Well, we start today's newscast with the latest from the House of Assembly, where viewers, the government of the National Unity has created a new policy not to include measures within the annual fiscal budget that have not yet reached the stage of creating revenues, following the approval of a second schedule of additional provisions, also referred to as SAP this year, in the amount of $9,633,684. Well, Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, made the announcement in the House of Assembly on Tuesday, following the passing of the SAP through the committee stage with amendments.
Be it resolved that the House of Assembly of the Virgin Islands approves the supplementary estimate set out in the schedule, which represents monies to be expended under their respective heads in variation or excess of the amount appropriated by the Appropriation 2022 Act 2021, number 41 of 2021 as follows. A recurrent expenditure of $7,108,284 to be expended in variation of the appropriated amount, which includes the sum of $1,800,600 from the reserve fund and $1,926,100 from the miscellaneous purposes fund to be charged against the consolidated fund of the territory, and B, capital acquisition expenditure of $781,900 to be charged against the development fund of the territory by way of funds transferred from the consolidated fund, and C, capital expenditure of $1,743,500, which includes a sum of $12,000 from the miscellaneous purposes fund to be expended in variation of the appropriated amount.
Well, Premier Wheatley noted that for the 2022 fiscal year, the House of Assembly approved revenue estimates of $356,653,431, which was 4.8% or $16.3 million higher than the 2021 figure of $340,389,909. Well, he said some of the budgeted revenue streams included a number of initiatives that were yet to materialize, a practice that will no longer occur following the passing of this new policy.
Expected collections from revenue initiatives such as gaming and gambling, asset mining, and medicinal marijuana were included in this budget. But these initiatives are not ready to deliver revenues. We have made a policy decision moving forward not to include any measures in the budget which have not realistically gotten to the point where revenues will be realized within a short period of time. We've also had to make adjustments due to the relief package offering a temporary reduction in import duties, which was done to ease the plight of our population due to the shocks from the COVID-19 global pandemic.
Well, the Premier noted that despite the deduction of these revenue estimates, collections were trending slightly above budget expectations, which he now estimated at $352,106,535.
This was attributed to the successful reopening of our tourism economy following the pandemic period, the increase in economic activity in our local business community, stamp duty from land sales, and a steady inflow of revenue from the financial services industry. The economy has commenced its road to recovery which will not happen overnight, as is the case with most economies throughout the world.
Well, the leader of government business also noted that while the territory's revenue was trending in the green, its expenditure exceeded the initial budgeted amount due to a number of factors.
While there's an uptick in revenue, there's also increased expenditure due to the resources needed to manage the territory's waste collection and disposal, the influx of illegal immigrants and detainees, funds transferred to the National Health Insurance to prevent the collapse of the scheme, the cost of reform, the increase in fuel prices, and the intended subsidy to assist residents with a reduction in the electricity bill due to the increase in global fuel prices. Additionally, the social assistance program facilitated by the Social Development Department was increased by approximately $1,301,000. This increase is partially funded from the transfer of funds from the $396,893 and the repurposing of the Ministry of Health Income Support Program in an amount of $485,883.
Well, the Premier said that the government will be tightening its spending for the rest of the year, adding that constant monitoring of the territory's financial revenue will have to continue in light of the ongoing global events, which will have an impact on the territory. Well, moving on, viewers, where residents across the territory will now have the opportunity to provide direct feedback on the just concluded 2022 Emancipation Festival celebrations. Well, this after the Central Statistics Office officially launched a survey to gather feedback from the public on the Emancipation festivities. Well, the survey, according to a media release from the office, will be open to the public for a one-month period, and all aggregated results will be publicized. The director of the Central Statistics Office, Mr. Raymond Phillips, in a media release said, and I quote, "The ultimate objective of the survey is to make the decision makers aware of some of the public sentiments on the celebrations with a view to actions towards improvements," end quote. But he also encouraged the public to provide their honest feedback, adding that the conduct of surveys forms a part of the remit of the Statistics Office and are conducted upon the request of other departments or as deemed necessary. Well, the survey can be filled out online via a link that is available in an article on our webpage. But the announcement of a survey for residents to provide input on the recently concluded Emancipation Festival first came to light at a press conference with Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley. But at the time of the press conference, he was responding to questions posed by the media on the possibility of making all Emancipation Festival events free to the public. Well, the Premier said, while the idea of hosting an Emancipation Festival that is free for all to attend is possible, residents must be realistic about the ability of government to take the bulk of that cost and the impact it will have on other areas. Well, he said it was his hope that a festival committee soon engage with members of the public to get a feel on their views of this year's festival activities and an understanding of what form residents would like to see the event take moving forward. Well, this, he suggested, could take place by way of survey in which members of the public would be asked to review the events and give suggestions and views on how the experience could be made better in the coming year. Well, viewers, up next, the surge of hand, foot, and mouth disease cases linked to poor sanitation measures following the decline of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Premier dispelled false rumor that a coup led to the formation of his national unity government. Claims stating no election be held. Also, he would have called those claims as well false. Well, these are more stories after a word from our sponsors.
You value traditions. You value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch again? You don't say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns. All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, health authorities believe that the ongoing surge of hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is being observed in the territory, is linked to the declining strict sanitization practices that would have been enforced during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, National epidemiologist Harmony Bruley-Messiah explained that one notable piece of evidence to support this theory is the difference in infection patterns and case numbers this time around when compared to the previous year. Well, last Thursday, 44 cases were reported across 10 preschools and daycare centers across the territory.
Now, last year, we did not have that many cases. And the reason for that was the strict hygienic measures that we had in place for COVID. Right? So you had people who were regularly sanitizing and disinfecting. You had persons who were minding their hand hygiene. And because all of that kind of waned now, we're seeing the increases again.
Well, Bruley-Messiah went on to explain that similar patterns are being reported internationally, with many countries noting that increase in cases of hand, foot, and mouth disease have coincided with the removal of strict public health measures.
This is something that's actually being seen in a lot of other countries as well, especially the Western Pacific countries. They have noted that with the waning of the public health measures in their own countries, they have started to see hand, foot, and mouth disease crop up a lot more in their community.
Well, she noted that despite sanitation measures being ramped up specifically to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in recent years, these measures are effective means of combating a number of infectious diseases and ought to be utilized on a personal level.
All of these measures that we have been enforcing, the proper hand hygiene, washing your hands properly and thoroughly, especially after using the bathroom, maintaining your distance, all of these things directly protect you against other infectious and contagious diseases as well. So it's not just COVID we have to worry about, it is the other diseases that are spread through this type of pathway that we do have to be mindful of.
Well, viewers, hand, foot, and mouth disease is spread through coughing, sneezing, contact with feces of an infected person, or contact with a contaminated surface. The symptoms include fever, itching, sore throat, reduced appetite, and a general feeling of being unwell. With the onset of a rash consisting of small red spots or blisters may appear on the soles of the feet, palms, or hands, or inside the mouth within 2 days of the onset of other symptoms. Well, healthcare providers and educational institutions have been urged to increase their vigilance and to immediately report any suspected cases of the disease to the Ministry of Health at 468-2281 or 468-2285. Well, moving on, viewers, where Premier and the leader of the National Unity Government, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, has dismissed claims which suggest that the present reform process following the Commission of Inquiry report is as a result of a coup in the territory. Well, the Premier debunked such claims at a recent press conference as he urged residents to stop spreading such misinformation. He said it acts as a disservice to the public and described the action as completely irresponsible.
As a people, we must continue to press ahead. I encourage everyone to remain engaged and to be active participants. As we debate reform, let us do so on the basis of factual and accurate information. It is a disservice to the public to share misinformation. I was highly disappointed recently to hear persons on the airwaves just last week saying that the current reform process is the product of a coup here in the Virgin Islands that brought the government of national unity to power. This is blatantly false, and spreading such falsehoods is completely irresponsible and self-serving.
Well, Premier Wheatley also explained that he was democratically elected as the new leader of the Virgin Islands Party following the legal entanglement faced by the former Premier Andrew Foy, who is presently in Miami facing charges for drugs and money laundering.
To be clear, the Virgin Islands Party Congress in early May elected me the chairman of the Virgin Islands Party. I am the leader of the Virgin Islands Party. It was then confirmed in writing by all of the elected members of the Virgin Islands Party, all of the elected members of the National Democratic Party, and the elected member of the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement that they supported me leading as Premier of the Government of National Unity. No coup has occurred in the Virgin Islands, and it's important that persons not spread such falsehoods, which is highly irresponsible, especially by persons in elected office.
Well, Dr. Wheatley also took the time to dispel another false allegation against his government, which suggested that they would support not having a general election in the territory. Well, Premier Wheatley said such claims are false as he sought to address the rumor.
Recently, some persons have publicly stated that the Government of National Unity would support not having a general election when it is constitutionally due. This is absolutely not true. What we have said is that there will not be an early snap election. There will be a general election within the constitutionally established period for the election to take place. We, of course, encourage everyone who is not registered to do so.
Well, the Premier urged residents to remain united as one BVI, stating that now is not the time for partisanship. Well, viewers, up next, government moving closer towards building a detention facility with security to be enhanced at present location. And the Virgin Islands Archery Association recently welcomed the world record holder and Olympian coach. We get to those two stories afterward from our sponsors.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Whitley has reaffirmed the government's commitment to constructing a proper detention center for illegal immigrants to meet the needs of the territory and securely house those placed at the facility. Well, this comes amid growing concerns on the use of the Castle Maria Hotel as a temporary detention facility. While in recent months, the facility has seen over a dozen detainees escaping, with the most recent being Guyanese national Ayanna Thomas, who was later recaptured by local authorities. Well, Premier Whitley said that his administration is looking to quickly move forward with plans for the construction of a designated detention center and has been making notable progress in this regard.
In the medium term, we are quickly moving towards building a detention center. And of course, we had a site visit the other day, and we'll be quickly moving towards doing the survey work which is required to be able to advance that, as well as getting designs done on an urgent basis. And we are right now allocating the resources needed to be able to build that in the 2023 budget.
Well, in the interim, however, Dr. Whitley says that discussions are ongoing with security personnel and the administration of the detention center to determine what can be done to increase security at Casa Maria and avoid future escapes.
We've started to increase the security at Casa Maria. Of course, we're certainly displeased with persons escaping repeatedly from Casa Maria, and so we've engaged the security and establishment on measures that can be taken to prevent that from taking place.
Well, Whitley also lauded law enforcement as well as the anonymous tipster who would have been instrumental in the recapturing of the escapee Ayanna Thomas. Moving on, viewers, where the Virgin Islands was graced with the presence of the world record holder in the compound archery and recurve and compound, Coach Raymond Michael Gerard, better known as Mike of St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands, and Olympian and archery coach Tatiana Muntian, also of St. Thomas. Our Ron Grant has the story.
The Virgin Islands was graced with the presence of world record holder in compound archery, recurve and compound coach Raymond Michael Gerard, better known as Mike of St. Thomas USVI, and Olympian and archery coach Tatiana Monte of St. Thomas USVI. The coaches came through the initial invitation of Virgin Islands Archery Federation in St. Thomas USVI, who graciously extended the invitation to us here in the Virgin Islands. Mike has over 44 years of experience in the sport, shooting competitively since he was 14 years old, and now shares his love for the sport through coaching. He has won every major U.S. championship in the U.S. in indoor field and target archery, except for 3D archery. Currently, he has the world record of the youngest archer that shot indoors. No one has broken his record to this day, which he accomplished when he was only 14 years old with a score of 598 out of 600. The closest anyone has gotten was a score of 596. He has trained several junior Olympic archery Olympians and junior world team members. He serves on the National Coaches Development Committee and the Board of Justice of U.S. Archery. He has written articles for several magazines and has given numerous seminars on archery. Tatiana came with a wealth of 35 years of experience in various disciplines in archery. Tatiana is an Olympian and has shot at international tournaments in the U.S. since 2015 and was part of the squad's Olympic trials for the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. World Archery Championships silver medalist, two-time individual gold medalist in indoor archery, bronze medalist in individual and teams in indoor archery, and silver medalist in field archery. She has worked with national teams in Ukraine, Romania, and France, along with individual archers around the world. Mike shared with the compound archers the information required for their discipline, whilst Tatiana shared with the recurve archers the knowledge needed for their discipline, as both have different mechanisms that rely on completely different aspects of the sport of archery. VIAA President and archery coach Patrick Smith reiterated a few key messages that was imparted from the two visiting coaches, which was to know your equipment. Coach Dwayne Donovan mentioned that he liked hearing about the magnetic renaissance and that the tune into your body and not the people around you were key lessons to be learned. When the team of younger archers were asked about their greatest takeaway, Shal David mentioned that Coach Tatiana's approach methods specifically for warm-up before, during, and after, along with the archer's form and shot process, really stood out. Both visiting coaches were asked, how did you find the experience to be working with our archers in the BVI? Tatiana responded by saying it was amazing to practice for all of us. All of the people that I met, talked to, and practiced with, they are positive, they are coachable and teachable. They are very, very important. Coach Patrick and all of you did a great job to have the level of archery in the BVI. I respect that very much. Mike mentioned that coming to the BVI was a fantastic experience. It took no time to see that the archers are all in with regards to enjoyment and growth in their abilities. Sky is the limit as a result. When asked, what did you see as the greatest challenge and strengths? Mike said the greatest strength is the commitment from both coaches and athletes and the respect shared throughout the team and the patience I witness. Everyone seems to enjoy each other. Low friction is huge and allows for unrestricted progress. The biggest challenge is the access to equipment and information you need because you work hard for that. Then many, the value is higher and appreciated. I believe you are doing well so far and are on the right track. Tatiana mentioned that as you can see in the videos and pictures that I do during our one-day practice, all the archers made a great form transformation in a short time. All the archers from transformation is possible because of my systemic training and method that was developed by me from the decades of experience in archery as an Olympian, pro archer, and national level coach. They were asked, what goal would you like to see achieved by the team? Tatiana responded by saying, I see and know for sure that here in the BVI there is a big potential for archery sport. My vision and goals are to see the BVI landers of all ages and the division teams on the top of the podium at the Caribbean and Pan American Games. I see potential for BVI archers to make the Olympic Games as well. Mike said that it would be great to set up a monthly video conference with the team to discuss needs, challenges, and triumphs. The next move is to get the ability to compete remotely with other teams. This will inspire your inner greatness, he said. It will add value to your work. The archery team has its largest delegation to date, gearing up to compete in the Caribbean Development Championships from September 6th through 8th, and the CAC Games qualifier from September 5th through the 12th, both in Santo Domingo, so this training was timely. Reporting for 284 News, Ron Grant.
Well, thank you, Ron. Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, forget you.
How may I assist you?
Listen.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?